motors ride with you, bitch. Take a shot, yeah, you know it don't miss. Deep range, my shot go switch. We riding now, windows riding through your town.
What's good, my Division family? Welcome back to another Division 2 build video. You already see it. You already know what time it is. Welcome in. We're here to talk about a new PvE clutch build video. And surprisingly, this gear set actually surprised me. I ain't gonna lie, I don't really play with gear sets, but this gear set surprised me. So if you're new, leave a like. If you're a returner person, leave a comment. And if you're a hater, you already know I catch you where I catch you. So let's dive into this and let's get straight to it. So you see that I have the 4-piece Aegis. You're like, yo, you got Aegis, what's different? Hey, like I said, this gear set surprised me. We're gonna go into it, but let's first start with the firewall specialist. Y'all know how we always break this down. We need the firewall specialist to get health on kill. You know, you might not think health on kill is crucial. Some of y'all was telling me to run gunner. I can't use gunner because I need health. That's the whole purpose for the whole build. So I actually feel like gunner would work because the armor on kill, but I need that health on kill. Gunner was giving me health on kill, then I would use it, but don't do that. So that's why you want to go with the specialist. And the other cases, you need to run it because when you pop that kit, not the insta kit, when you pop the regular kit, you get 10 seconds of immunity of just having crazy health, tanky health, and your armor, you get all that back. Y'all already know how this kit works, like, you know, so that's why we running it. You need to run stuff that support health. There's not too many things in the game that has any support for health. I talked about that in my previous video. I'll leave that in the description so you can hear what I was talking about. But yeah, they need to add some more features to where you could get some health on kill or, you know, regen or whatever. But that's a whole nother topic, like I said. But that's what you specifically want to use, is specifically the firewall specialist. Sorry. Next, we going with the backfire, and we go with the MPX. It doesn't really matter to me because sometimes I fluctuate to go back and forth, but specifically the backfire because it's the strongest SMG, and the reason why, because we're getting free 200% crit damage for just shooting and landing shots. And yeah, you're putting yourself on bleed, but that's basically what it is, and that's basically what the talent is. I'm just summing up the whole talent for you. All you gotta do is land 100 shots, you get 200 crit damage, but on a penalization of you putting yourself on bleed. That's it. That's all this gun is. We ain't gonna read that whole talent because I spoke about this so many times. Next, we got streamline. Like I said, I fluctuate to go back and forth because with this gear set, I actually feel tanky, or I am tanky enough, so I don't really have to run a shield as much. But sometimes, like I said, I fluctuate back and forth. It really depends how I feel. Some days I want to run streamline, some days I want to run a backfire, but you could play with whatever you feel like you're comfortable playing with. In my case, I play with these two, or sometimes I'll go to the P90 and slap on, you know, I would change status and I will fluctuate, go back to different talents. But that's what we have on right there. The mods, you see the mods: crit hit chance, reload speed, crit hit chance again, and crit hit damage. That's what we put on there. So now let's talk about the brand piece first. The brand pieces. So we got 2-piece Palisades. We also have regular clutch, not perfect clutch. We're gonna break that down too. What's different between regular clutch and perfect clutch? But you got the chest piece. We got 10% armor on kill with the 2-piece, 60% health. Like I said, it's crucial because you need that for the build. And then we got health, crit damage, and obliterate. Critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds. Stacks up to 20 times. And like I said, you need the most damage because you kind of lacking on damage with this build. But trust me, it still works, as you've seen in the footage. So that's why we have that. Next, we got regular clutch. Health, crit damage, mod crit damage. If you're below 15% armor, critical hits repair 2.5 missing armor. Kills allow you to repair up to 100% armor for 4 to 10 seconds based on your number of red cores. A lot of y'all say that some of y'all can get the perfect clutch, say devils do, but if you don't have that, it's okay. You could play with the regular one. The only difference is it says if you're below 15%, that's the difference. It's 15%, and the perfect clutch is 20%. Now you might look at this like it's not a big difference. Yes, it is. It really is. But when you play with this gear set, it doesn't feel like it because you have so much tankiness. We're going to go into the gear set now on what the tankiness is, but that's what I've noticed. So it's not that bad to play with this. You can actually put on 2-piece Gilligard if you want to, because it gives you the same thing, but you just ain't gonna get that armor on kill. And I feel like armor on kill for this build gives the build more survivability, as you see. So yeah, now for the mask, we have Aegis Gearset. 2-piece, 70% health. I wish that was buffed up more because 70 and 60 is a weird number to stop at, especially 70, but 70% health, 15% total armor. We're going to talk about that on why that's crucial to the build. And then we got the 4-piece Stoic. Get 4% resistance for every enemy that's targeting you. Max stack is 8. The bonus multiplied, you see, is multiplied, not additive, multiplied. 1x, where x is the number of agents in the group. Weapon damage, health, crit damage. Now, the way how this works is basically the more NPCs that target you, the resistance, that's where you get this 4-piece to work. That's when you get the resistance. So you want more NPCs to target you so that you be tanky. That's why you've seen in the clips where I'm playing solo. That's where the build works best. Playing solo, you have just all NPCs focus you, and you're like a tank. And I'm a tank at 1.3 million health. I mean 1.3 million armor now, 1.7. And go back to what I said, 3-piece, 15% total armor. That 15% total armor is the reason why I'm at 1.3, and the reason how I was able to put 1 weapon core, 2 weapon cores, 3 and 4 weapon cores. Now, if I was able to change the weapon cores of these, which I cannot, I would love to change it from 170k armor to weapon damage, and I'll be at 1.1 from 1.3, and I will still be tanky enough, and my gun will hit harder. Actually, this gun will probably hit like 123k base damage, or 125, my fault. And it wouldn't bother the build because the more damage, especially with Obliterate. But if you do have a version like this, you can actually switch it off, and you can actually expertise. If you expertise all the pieces to 30, I could actually be at 1.4 with this, where if I was able to switch off an armor core, I'll drop down to 1.2. But as you see, I can't do that, like I said. So if you do want to do that, you could do that, but I feel like the build might get there because it's probably one of my new favorite survival PvE builds. Like I said, I made a Hunter's Fury one before a couple weeks ago, and I thought that was probably one of the best survival ones, but this one actually surprised me the most. So that's a week half of that. Aegis is slept on, and it doesn't work in PvP, they say, but I've been doing some testing, and I don't know, man. I've been feeling like it do work. I still gotta do some more testing, and I'm probably going to bring a video about that later on if it does work. And just make sure you stay tuned, because I'm gonna be the first person to talk about that and really show y'all some proof if it do work. But we're gonna get into that. But as you see, we got the mask, like I said. We have the glove that comes with health, and then we have health again on the knee pads. And of course we have crit chance here because we do not have Seska. And a lot of these pieces, Aegis always rolls with blue, so you kind of need to get a unicorn piece. So it's going to be kind of hard to get it. You can actually craft it, which is what I did, but that's the only way that you're going to get these type of pieces. You got to get unicorn, but that's what we have for there. Next, we got a striker shield.
Agent in need of
Isaac
backup.
again with the rude interruptions again. And as you see, we have a defender drone because we want to have more tankiness. We want to soak up more bullets, especially with Aegis. So that's what we have for there. Now let's talk about the modifier, because you see I have 1.7 million health. Now I'm not going to do a deep dive into modifiers. I'm going to just talk about the one that I specifically am abusing and using to get this high health. We are using the one called a tear a day. For each tear in any attribute, gain 10% total health. And a total, if you have all 3 lighting up, you see I got firewall, obviously stamina, and the latrines. You got all that blinking, you at 1.7, so you have a total of 150% total health. If I was to activate my modifier, which I'm going to do at the end of the video, I'm going to show y'all, I'm going to be at 2 million health. You are super a tank. Like, I don't understand how you could die with this. Like, you could die, but yo, with this tankiness, like, I don't know, like it's like free. It's literally free form. So that's what we have for there. So the modifier, like I said, it's a tear a day. The other modifiers don't really matter. Like, you know, you could get up load it up. You want more critical hit chance, you know, add it for critical hit damage. But like I said, we're here to talk about this specific one. So that's the one we're here to talk about. You need to do your journeys to unlock that. The season is almost over, but you can still have some fun. We also have the new climax mission coming out in like 3 weeks. Hopefully these modifiers play a toll in there, because the last two didn't really play a toll in those mastery missions. It didn't make sense, but hopefully it do. And if it do, then you already have your modifiers unlocked, which means you make that mission more easier or more creative to play with a new build. I might actually play with this build in the new mastery mission in 3 weeks, because I just feel like I'm a walking tank with this. So now let's go with the stats. So we have 62% critical hit chance, which is basic 60%, which is max for clutch, and we have 135 crit damage, which added on with the backfire 200%, that would be 330 crit damage. Yeah, that's all you gotta see. Hitting like a truck, like I said. Now, for the MPX, 57 crit chance and 130 crit damage. But like I said, for the lack of the crit damage, Streamline makes up for that. So that's what you could do. And you're probably like, well, you got skills playing with Streamline. Well, for the times where I'm not using my skills, I use Streamline. And for the times where I need to use my skills, then I'll, you know, pull out the shield or whatever I gotta do to actually stay alive. So that's what I can say about that. But yeah, that'll basically be it for the build. Y'all seen it work. I'm going to activate that modifier right now. I almost forgot, but I'm gonna activate it right now to show y'all. So we activate this modifier, you will see we'll be at 2.3 million health. Now look, 2.3 million health, all the tankiness with the gear set. Yo, you're a tank with the defender drone, with the damage. Hey, synergize perfectly. Y'all know how the build works. Y'all see how the build works, and hopefully y'all enjoy it. So that's how we obtain that 2.3. But if you're new, leave a like. If you're a returning person, leave a comment. And if you're a hater, you already know I catch you where I catch you. That will be it for today's build video. Hopefully I have an exuberant day. It's hot out there. Stay hydrated. I'll catch y'all in my next video. It's your boy Zay. Peace.